Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Cardcraft. Thanks for joining me today. I couldn't remember whether we were in class or what we were doing there for a while, sorry. Back this time for Design Team Project for WhichCraft Do You Do. Quick one this time, I promise. What I want to show you, the kit, we'll go back. The kit that I want to work with is their Decorative Charms Set 1. These are, as you can see, charms. These are smaller ones where I've printed them out 2 page. Depending on the size of the journal that I'm using will depend on the size of the charms that I want. So you'll see that, and I've only got a few printed out. I've probably got 3/4 of the kit printed out. So we've got all the ones that I tend to use. So some of them I haven't got printed out. Love these clocks. Don't these look awesome? Haven't quite come up with anything for those ones yet, and we've got a plain set here that I can pop my own bits and pieces on. The ones that we're working on today, and I was printing these out yesterday to start thinking about it. And as I was printing them out, my mind was going mental. And I went, oh, I know what, I want to do this. So this is a quick one on how to play with your charms. Okay, as I said before, I printed them out so that there was 2 page. So that's the full page there. If that's in screen, that's the full page. So when I print about 2 to a page, so that's this strip down here, you can see the difference in the sizes. Okay, I hope there's not too much glare on that, but yeah, you can see the difference in the sizes. I love this size, but for most of my journals that are smaller at the moment I'm working on smaller journals because they're quicker. I like these smaller size charms. So what I wanted to create was some dangles. So I might need to leave that one out actually. Move that away. That's how I keep all my digitals in their own little books. Now, what you're going to need is some cardstock. Now, we want something that is thicker than manila envelope. It is too thin. We want cardstock. So, and I've actually forgotten to bring some over to stick it on. Hang on just a moment. Just a moment. It's sitting over here. Put my microphone there so I don't kill myself. Hang on. Take a sip of your coffee. And I'll grab a piece from over here. And it can be any cardstock. Why can I not find a piece of cardstock? Oh. Alright. Alright, I'm back. I'm back. Fancy doing that. That's because I sorted all this out and then went down to work and then I've just come back. Alright, we'll just grab a piece of cardstock. Now, my original ones I used this. It's too light. Way too light. So I then went into thicker cardstock. You need something that is thick enough that it's not going to want to wobble. Wobble's not the right word. Buckle, I suppose would be a better word. But it needs to be at a thickness that you can still cut. So you don't want to go into big chipboard type things. So either of those will be fine. I'll just dump this down here without killing myself or pulling the tripod off. All right. So you can see that that's fairly, see how it wants to flick back? It would probably be about a 200 GSM. I don't know what that is in pounds. This one is quite thick, which means it's going to be hard when I want to cut it. It's going to be hard to get into little areas without it wanting to do that. So can you see how this wants to peel up? We don't want that. So if you've got a piece of cardstock there, try it out like that first. If it's doing that, it's a little bit too thick. This one should be a good thickness. Grab your little charms. I'm going to get so many of those on that one, aren't I? So 1, 2, 10, the whole page, whatever it is you want to do. Don't need all that extra on there. So we'll just trim that down. And what I want to do is I'm going to glue the whole of this down. It's easier to glue the whole thing than each individual charm, cutting them out and then gluing them down. It is way easier to do it this way. So we'll just glue this. So making sure you're all over it with your glue stick, Mod Podge glue stick, whatever you want to use. Right. Peel him up. Stick him down. I've got glue all over that. Just wipe off some of that glue. Now give him a good push. If you do it this way, it means that you get more of a chance of the smaller bits adhering because they're not right on the edge when you're actually doing it. Okay. So there it all is, stuck down. Normally I would give that a little bit of time to dry. We can put our glue stick away now. And what we're going to use is glossy accents. I know I haven't shown you what it is that we're making yet. Keep you in suspense. I love glossy accents. It's a product that came out by Ranger. You can see that mine is well worn. I don't even know if they've still got the same packaging as this anymore. Came out years ago. You can also use it as a glue. I tend to use it for this. What it'll do is give me a resin-like appearance. It is so easy to do. So the only thing you need to remember with glossy accents, don't shake the bottle. Don't ever shake it. If it's not sitting right down the tip, don't give it a good shake to get down in the tip. All you'll do is create air bubbles in it. Allow it to come down of its own accord right to the tip. Then just squeeze it out and follow where you want to go. So I'm going to take my glossy accents in the center picture, not the frame, just the picture. When you're using your glossy accents, so you can see I've done a round through. One row round is the word that I wanted. Then we're going to fill that in. Now, when you fill it in, you're just going to go backwards and forwards. I'm hoping you're getting to see a lot of that. We're just going to go backwards and forwards. You're not ploughing a field, okay? All those girls that have done classes with me throughout the years will know me saying that every time. You're not ploughing a field. You don't want furrows in it. You know when you plough a field and you make nice little lines down there? You don't want that. You want it as solid as possible, okay? Without air bubbles. If you get an air bubble in that, that's fine. Just use a pin and prick it now before it starts to dry. So you can see when it's on, it's got a cloudy-like appearance. Just when I finish using my glossy accents, I'll wipe my nozzle. I'll pop a pin in there just to clear a little bit of the nozzle, and then I'll do my lid on. Okay? Bottle that size will last you forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So we've now got a glossy appearance. If I grab one of these that's already done, so you can see I did it on the other cardstock to start with. See when they dry, they're completely clear. So can you see the difference without the glare? This is real milky and this is now clear, okay? You want to wait until it gets completely clear. Now, glossy accents will take this amount of time to dry. Depending on the weather, the heat in your house, the cold in your house, there's so many variables when you're working with it. General rule of thumb, what I tend to do is think in advance. I know that's strange for me. And if I want to work with glossy accents or anything else, I'll sit down and I'll do all my work with it prior to going to bed. I'll get up the next morning, everything's dry, everything's clear, hard to the touch, and I can use it straight away. The longer it's sitting there, the harder it gets, and that's what you want. So if you can leave it for any real length of time, brilliant. You can, like these ones this morning, I got up using the ones from yesterday, and I thought, I might need a few different ones as well. So I quickly did these. These ones have been drying for about 4 hours now, I suppose. So they're dry, but they might be a little bit soft to touch. they're usable by all means. You can see they're nice and clear, but the longer you leave them, the harder it gets. So that in the end, it is rock hard. And it's always better when you're working with glues later on if they're rock hard. So I'll stop waffling, but I just wanted to show you what we're doing to start with, okay? So what we're making is charms. So we're making dangles for our journals. Look at these. Look how easy these are. Look how great they look to hang off our journals. And because they will tinkle because that's getting harder all the time. These ones were done yesterday afternoon, so, and you can see where I've been playing with them. I've got a little bit of glue on my fingers and it's gone into them a little bit. The longer you can leave them, the better it is. But they're just gorgeous, so easy to do. So we will grab some of the ones that I did yesterday. And so all of these ones were done yesterday, and you can see how this one has wanted to buckle. This one that I did today was on a harder cardstock, and it's hardly moved at all. You can see underneath this is buckling. So the flatter your cardstock, the better it's going to be. So we'll cut some out of this one and some out of the other one. So when you're cutting around them, you'll just cut around your frame. And that's why it's easier to stick the sheet on and then trim around it. You want scissors that are going to give you a nice sharp point and go right into your edges. I'm just getting this into a more manageable size, and then I tend to trim and trim just so I've got a more manageable size as I'm going. I know, you would think that I would have cut some of these prior, but as I said, it's Sunday here. I'm late doing video anyway, and I had to run back down to work. So I've been away, and now I've whizzed back home before I do the evening meal, and I thought I'll film this and then get on to everything else. Right, so I'm just going to go back up there. And this is why you don't want cardstock on it that is too thick. And why you want scissors that you can get right into that tip. So the scissors I'm using here are the Uniquely Creative ones. So what size have I got? I've got that size oval. So we'll take this one as well. And we'll just very quickly cut around this. They just make the most beautiful, beautiful faux resin charms. The designs are awesome. They're so easy to cut around because they are such wonderful shapes. You can do so much more with this kit, but when I was printing it out yesterday, and as they were coming out of the printer and I was looking at them, and I went, oh, I can just see them all shiny, all done, all resined, and that's what I use my glossy accents for. They're coming out beautifully. So we're going to get this one done. Now, I use if you've got black ink will work a bit better, but once again, I was using what I had on my desk. That in the bin. So I'm just going to use my really dark gathered twigs to get rid of any white that I've got going around there, okay? So if you've got a black ink there, it'll highlight that up better as a darker edge. But this will still show you what we're doing. So do both of those ones so you can see how buckled they are, unfortunately. So we'll do these and then I'll show you the difference with the black ones. Right, so now what we're going to do is join the two of these together so you can see how buckled they are. You can bend these. don't bend them too much unless you want that crackled look, because you can get the crackled look as well with glossy accents. So I'm just maneuvering that one a little bit just to meld it more into the shape that I want so that they're both going to go together. So now, using my normal liquid glue, I'm going to smother this with glue. Hence why I ended up with so much glue on my hands before when I was doing them. Because these are buckled a little bit, and it's the glossy accents that does that on this cardstock, I need lots of glue to really meld it together. So there's that one. I want to make sure I've got right down on my edges. Put the lid back on that. Now we're going to match these ones up. So we're just going to match him up. Nice and easy to match up. I'm going to squeeze out that excess glue. Lots of excess glue. And then I'm just going to sit it under something flat, heavy flat, to try and get them into shape. Right, so now we've got our double-sided charm, and I'm just going to sit that over here underneath my trimmer so that that's sitting there on it. And what we're going to do, it's all right, I couldn't remember where I'd put that one. That one is wet. I need to sit him over to the side. So with the black one, he's not as curved, nowhere near as curved. So we'll grab a couple of these. Oh, hang on. I should have. That one's fairly flat and that one's fairly flat. So I'll take 1 and 1. How's that? And that gives us 2 different sizes. I know, a little bit of cutting. You would have thought that I would have thought to actually cut these out. I don't know. Never even entered my mind. That's what I get for just winging it today. Right. And this one. So it doesn't take long to cut them out. And down into that one. Right, there's one. And I'm going to take this one. So you can hear that this is a far thicker cardstock. But it doesn't buckle anywhere near as much. It doesn't matter what colour you use underneath to stick them onto, because you're not going to see any of that. It is literally just to give them a little bit of stability. But, and I know we've got lots and lots of manila folders floating around. We've all got them, but it's not quite thick enough. You would need to, you know, glue 2, 3, 4 together to start with. There's that one. That one. My hands get so gluey doing this, that's the only problem. Glue everywhere. Right, see they're sitting, that's sitting perfectly flat. That's what we want. Just makes it easier. This one's a little bit buckled, but I'm hoping the black one will sit him down. And they'll sit on top of one another. So back with this one. Going round. The closer you get to the edge, the better it is. Right. Setting him on, picking him up, and then just join them together. and get rid of the excess glue. I'm just giving him a push. I just had something fall over there where I very quickly grabbed that cardstock. Right. Okay. And he's glued really nicely together. So now that he's glued together, we'll get rid of that white edge. And the white edge is there because I've used copy paper when I've printed these out. And it's the copy paper on the edge. That's all. He's not quite joined together. But you know what I mean. Spend some time. Don't just rush through it like I'm doing. Right, so here's this. What I like to do with these, if you've got paint and a small brush, beautiful. I'm just using a straight metallic pen. And I'm just going to go around and give that edge just a little bit more of an edge. Just to give it a little bit more detail when they're hanging down. Now you can use any colour you like. I've got a bronzy colour. It was just the first one I picked up, so because it's got that beautiful edge on the design already, and I just wanted to highlight that up. There's one side. Do it to both sides because these are now double-sided, so it makes no difference when they hang to which side you're looking at. Going around. So you can see you don't need to be spot on, and I can't go around like that. I can't do it. So mine are little whisper pieces going around, turning it around and going back again. So you can see I'm moving the charm more than I'm moving my pen. Right, so there's that one. Now what we want to do is make it into a charm. So I'll use a pencil to get a mark in it that's round about in the centre of that section. Then with a very small punch, so it is tiny. Tiny. This one's just a little Fiskars one. There'd be lots of little punches out there. So straight over that, down, gently take him off. And now I've turned it into an actual charm. Now with that, what we're going to do is going to use some jump rings. I like the Tim Holtz jump rings because there's some big ones in these to attach them. I've got lots and lots of different jump rings. So these are just the smaller ones. My Tim Holtz ones I use for when I'm attaching them later on, which is what we'll do to our clips, because they're a good size and they're the only place I can get that size. Now, WhichCraft Do You Do have these on their website. Okay, so you'll get these with the 3 different colours in the 2 different sizes, and you'll get those on WhichCraft as well. So now I want a couple of pairs of pliers. Find the opening to my jump ring. This is where it helps to be ambidextrous. So we're just going to twist it a little bit just to open our jump ring without deforming it. Putting that in. And then closing it back up. Okay, so now what we've got is our little charm that's nice and shiny and glossy. Okay, now you could put that on, you could put that on a bowl pin, like so. Do it up, Kylie. So you could put that on a bowl pin. Look how beautiful that is. All right, you could attach that to some chain. So let's pop our bowl pin away. Oh, look, you can also do that. Now, little Timmy paper clip. Go in, Go down. And now we've got that on our little, so hang on a moment, I should have a journal here. Right. So what I want to do is sit that up there. Look at that. How sweet does that look? All from these little paper digitals. This beautiful little charm set. And it doesn't matter which way it flops. And it's all nicely resined as such, without having to buy all the resin kits and the UV light and blah, 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 that we have to go through with all that. Just use your glossy accents, use your little charms, and look at that. Now, if we wanted to add that to a chain, it's the same sort of thing. Taking it back off this, going that way. Taking it back off the paper clip. Pop that back in the paper clip one so that I know where it is. And I'll just keep adding it to this. How's that? So I've already got my jump ring on there. I use my tweezers again. Tweezers, they're not tweezers, what are they? Pliers. So I've got 2 or 3 different pairs of pliers. So we're just opening it again as we did before. And I'm just going to find a spot in that. Hook it through my chain. And then we're going to close it again. So double-handed again. And we're just going to join them back up. So all we've done is twist left and right, or away from us and towards us, and then back. You don't want to pull your jump ring out, okay, because it's too hard to get back into that circle. So if you just twist it that way, then you can twist it back and you've got it back in there. So here's our little dangle now. We could add as many of those or as little as those as we like. And I'm going to finish this one about here. So again, with my pliers, I need to find where the chain has an opening. And again, pull it away from yourself, lifting that up. I'm going to do that part of the chain back up again so that I don't lose it before I put my chain back away. Might help if I don't have my pliers in there so much. There we go. So that's now back ready to use as something else. And what we're going to do with this one is I'm going to use one of these bigger jump rings. This is obviously not the packet that I've got open normally. I've got 2 or 3 of these packets on the go, and but I want one of the bigger ones. So if I just grab my normal tweezers, which I should have here somewhere, there we go. If I grab one of these larger ones, or 2, sit that so I don't knock it. Right, so I've got a larger jump ring now. Now these, you can get a Sharpie pen, you know, the permanent Sharpie pens, and go over them and change your colours. You can get your alcohol ink and go over them and change their colours if you don't want the silver. WhichCraft Do You Do also have the Tim Holtz ones of these, and I can't remember whether these are Timmy ones or not. They were just sitting loose in my drawer with a pile of other ones. I've just got piles of different types of clips everywhere. So what I want to do is grab my jump ring, like so, and pop my chain on it. And I'm going to pop it through there, like that. How awesome does that look? Look at that. Without my gluey fingers. Don't look at my gluey fingers. Isn't that pretty? And there are so many different, these were just that first one, which was, let's just move that glue so I've got a little bit of space. Decorative Charms. It's that page. Decorative Charms Collection, Set 1. And they're so beautiful. We've got the vintage photos in these decorative charms. We've got the butterflies and the bugs and things like that in these charms as well. So that's the full page again. Print 'em toodle page. You've got the smaller size. You've got the larger size. The clocks, love the clocks. These ones I'm so hanging out to work on. And I'm thinking at this stage, they may even become hidden paperclip slides. Look at them. They're just beautiful. And then, of course, you've got the plain ones that I can stamp on. I can put stickers of flowers in there and then still give them that coating with the glossy accents. And it looks like it's got these, when you're using the clear flowers, you could put a pressed flower in there, an actual pressed flower, go over it with the glossy accents, and then it's embedded into it. They're just so beautiful to work with. Right. So that's one idea, or 3 ideas if you want to put it on with a bulb pin or a paper clip or whatever else. But one idea as in giving you your dangle. Another idea, and I'm just going to move some of these because I have quite a bit. And you can see that that is still really milky. Okay, so they take a while to dry. It is about 20 degrees inside our house at the moment. It'll take quite a while, and you want it as hard as you possibly can. I'm just going to move that one up there. Now, without setting the house alight, what we want to do for this one, oh, I've got another one there, don't lose that one, is use one of these ladies. So I'm going to chop out one of these ladies, and this was the other reason that I went and got thicker cardstock, because while I was working on the other, I got an idea, which is what happens, isn't it? We all tend to go, ooh, and our mind wanders, and we go, oh, I need to do that now. Oh, I want to do that now. Oh, but I could do this. And it's all just a matter of playing. See what you come up with, see what you can do, and just go from there. You never know until you actually play. Let's face it, it's paper. Print it out again, redo it again. And that's the best thing about digitals. You can just, if you ruin the whole sheet because you don't like any of it and you can't bring any of it back to use, print it out again, go again. I tend to, when I'm printing out a new kit, I will print it out each sheet 2 or 3 times. May not need them 2 or 3 times because my mind will wander halfway through a project and I'll go, oh, if I'd done that, or I could do that. So, trimming him up, and I've got to admit, the larger they are, the easier they are to cut. All right, so here's this one. She's a little bit bent, but not bad. Not bad at all. Again, I want to get a little bit of that white away. If I'd had a black ink, I would have done it in black, but it's sitting over there. My black soot, so just very roughly round that. So I've got that, and this is fairly flat. I want this to be fairly flat. Gosh, I've got some gunk on that. So I'm just bending it down where I can see that it's not quite flat. And I want to put a wax seal on the bottom of it. Oh, I know, right? It was just, no, before I do that, I want to pop my hole in there again. So I'm going to do that one again. It's easier without the wax seal on there. You can do it without with the wax seal on there, but it's just easier. You don't run the risk of chipping anything. So straight into there. Right, so I've got that already on there. There's this one. I just use the sticks. The little beads are probably easier, but I tend to just use the sticks. So if I smoke you out, I'm sorry. If you hear my fire alarm go off, my smoke alarm go off, don't worry about it. We know what it is. It'll be fine. If you see the kids come running out, at least you know that they're taking note of said fire alarm, smoke alarm, smoke detector. What are they? Smoke detectors, aren't they? All right, I just need this to get going. This is a beautiful colour. All right, so I'm just going to keep dripping. We want a fair whack of wax on there because this is almost the same size, which is why we've used the big ones this time. And the sticks take longer to drip, I find. But it is dripping. It's a lovely colour. I need to get that flame going a little bit more, I think. I did do this one before. Come on. And it came out brilliantly. But my expertise in wax sealing, a bit like a glass sealing, is not brilliant. I just tend to play around. I don't use it a great deal. I pull it out for bits and pieces. And it's still a work in progress, my learning of the wax seals. I do tend to do them when I'm playing with them, and I'll do them on a silicone mat and then press into them and then peel them off the silicone mat so that I've just got them to adhere to a project later on. So as you can see, it takes a while with this, and so a lot of it wants to start to dry prior. And you just want to hurry it along. It's not helping that I'm talking over the top of it, so my flame keeps wandering. I just want a good little pile sitting there. And I can work out now where I want to go to bring this up to where I'm going. And then I'm going to try and move it. Right. This will still be dripping, I know. But what I want to do is just move it around a little bit. So while I've got that flame there, I'm just moving it around a little bit, because the centre of that is already starting to dry. And it's fairly thick. Now you'll see all the smoke. So I'm just going to sit that on. And I want it to come out the sides a little bit. Can we see that? Find somewhere safe on the glass mat, and I'll blow that. Right. Are we ready? Yeah, see, that's come out nicely on there. That's what I wanted it to do. In my mind, that's what I had it doing. Are you drying? Oh, yeah. And I know it's not a perfect round, and I didn't want a perfect round. I just wanted that so that this brilliant red showed round here. And then I've got that on the other side. So my first one I did, where I was playing with this to see if it would work, because I wasn't quite certain whether it would buckle the glossy accents, because there's a fair whack of heat that's going on there. And I was uncertain how it would react to the glossy accents on this side. It worked a treat. So I've got it on there. Didn't get as much ooze out the side that I wanted, and ended up with a little bit over here, which I quite liked as well, because it just gave it that older waxed feeling. So you can see it was just starting to come out here. So I wanted more on it this time. So to have this sort of effect where it comes out from behind it was just what I'm after. So can you imagine those? Oh, and I've got another one of those. I'm going to go that big size. Find those pliers again. That one and that one. So hold on to that one. Twist that over. Set that in. Actually, what I want from that is a smaller one on top of that. So if I go to my smaller ones now, and I don't have to undo this one then, do I? So these are just I don't know what size they are. They're just wherever I find them. Setting that one on there as well. Closing that up. Nicely like that. Right. I'm just going to twist that like that. Make sure he's nicely closed. There we go. Perfect. And now I'm going to get that bulb pin again, which of course I put away. There we go. I've got so many different ones in there, it's not funny. undo that. Look at that. Oh, I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. Actually, no, I'm going to go back and I'm actually going to put that little paper clip, that little Timmy paper clip that I was playing with before, and I'm going to put it back onto that journal, which is almost finished. So, and it needs the other little jump ring, I find, when I'm doing this, to give it enough of a, so that it will sit properly. So I'll grab that journal out again. Open up that first page. I knew I wanted something on this page, so there you go. So that my paper clip is sitting up there a little bit. And now it's sitting up here, because I want it to hang out like so. I've got the 2 jump rings on there. And look at that. I like that. That finishes off that journal beautifully. It's all about mail order and postage. So that's I'm happy with that. So have a play with these. Do have a play with these. As I said before, that's got cold now. I'm putting them away. Decorative Charms. Lots of different options. Have a play. Get yourself some glossy accents with it as well. Or if you've got the resin kits, do them with the resin kits. But utilise them and make them proper faux charms with that shiny, beautiful, hard feel. Go with that. See how you go. I'd love to see some finished products with them. So jump on it over if you belong to the Playing with Paper and Glue Facebook group. If not, we'd love to have you on board. Come over and have a look and join our group, and then show me some of the ones that you've made using the WhichCraft Do You Do Decorative Charms. I can't wait to see what everyone else comes up with. So thank you for joining me for that one for today. And until next time, happy crafting. And I will leave the link for the WhichCraft Do You Do page and the link straight through to their digitals in the bottom of my description box. So please do go over, have a look, get yourself some charms, make yourself some dangles. Great way to spend an afternoon. Thanks, guys. Bye.